Hey, we're Morgan World Entertainment, and we have a massive update regarding John Rambo, because as you can see right there, that's the release date. They've dropped the release date, and as you can see right there, only in theaters. So there was apparently speculation going around that this may get dumped on streaming, and now it's confirmed, no, Lionsgate are not just going to dump it on streaming, it is going to the theaters, which makes sense. That is good news as well. I'm not overly excited about this movie. I am very curious about the movie, and I'm curious how they're going to start it. We know Stallone is now on board as an executive producer. I still want to know, will they actually have him in the movie at the beginning? And him saying, like they did with the Young Indiana Jones series, where they had Harrison Ford in it at the beginning, to say, oh, this is basically how my life started in this way and stuff. So we'll have a look at the article that tells us about this release date. So I'm very curious about the movie. As I said, I'm not overly excited about it, but I'm definitely curious to see what they do with it. But let's take a look at the article. So it says Lionsgate has set a release date for John Rambo. The upcoming Rambo origin movie will open only in theaters on June 4th, 2027. The official John Rambo social media account announced the date with a new poster featuring the franchise's familiar red lettering. That's the poster, by the way. It's not like an actual poster with like Rambo on it and stuff. That's the poster. So, the announcement confirms the prequel is being positioned as a theatrical release, not a streaming play, which is good news again. So Noah Centineo stars as the younger John Rambo in the film, which goes back to the beginning of the iconic action character before the events of First Blood. The movie is directed by Yahimir, or however you pronounce it, Helander, known for Sisu and Rare Exports. Helander previously described the film as a stripped-down survival story about endurance, persistence, and lost innocence. Sylvester Stallone is also officially involved as executive producer. Stallone recently confirmed his role in a social media video and said the film will tell the prequel, the beginning of Rambo's story. David Harbour has joined the cast as Major Trotman, Rambo's commanding officer and one of the key figures in the franchise. Richard Cranen played Trotman in the original films, where the character served as Rambo's mentor and one of the few people who understood him. By the way, here's an interesting fact if you didn't know this. Trotman was originally meant to be played by Kirk Douglas, Michael Douglas's father. But he was so strict and stern, and they were like, this isn't who the character is. And he demanded that the end of the movie, number one, he demanded that the story was actually more about him than Rambo. But he demanded that he executes Rambo at the end of the movie. So in the scene in the police station where Rambo breaks down and he gives that big monologue, you know, about the friends being killed in the war and Trotman just standing there taking it all in and stuff. Kirk Douglas wanted that moment to be that he was the guy who had to go in and, as he said, put Rambo down. As in, he's like a rabid dog and they have to go in and put the dog down. And they were like, no, people will absolutely despise that. Plus, you truly would be making Rambo the villain if you had to go in and kill him by the end of the movie. So, that they fired Kirk Douglas. They were like, no, this dude's being such a pain in the ass. That was one of the things. It wasn't just because he wanted to kill Rambo at the end. It was he was being a pain in the ass. He didn't understand the story. He didn't understand the character. Trying to make Trotman the main character in the Rambo movie. And they just had a pain in their ass with him. And they were like, get rid of him. It's just, we're going to have to fire him. And they did. And they brought in Richard, and you know, the rest is history. We got the true character of Trotman with Rambo for 3 movies. So yeah, just if you didn't know that, there you go, you know that now. You can look that up as well. So the Listed cast also includes James Franco, who apparently has a very minor role, Jefferson White, Quincy Isha, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Jason Tobin, Yao, Time, good luck with this last name, that's how we'll say that, and Nico Tucci. So Rambo opens only in theaters June 4th. So it's good now that we have a release date, which is a year away. So, you know, don't expect any trailers anytime soon. I wouldn't be surprised if a trailer came out around December, maybe, like the teaser trailer. I think that's when they would more so be inclined to drop that. Don't know about a first look, as in, like, images and stuff. That could be really soon. You know, once they give a release date like this, I wouldn't be surprised if they started handing out some sort of official first look image. What's interesting actually as well is, like, they've positioned themselves where could they show up with something right now with Comic-Con? Could they have like a first look, like brand new poster, first look images, maybe brief clip at Comic-Con? Don't know. That's very possible. They are still filming. They are still adding to the cast as well. So, you know, like James Franco was only announced, what, 3 weeks ago? I did the video on it. And now we're getting the official release date and that it's only going to be in theaters. We're assuming it's going to be not just an R-rated, but a hard R-rated. I'm pretty sure they said that at one stage, that was the goal as well. Again, we don't know whether Stallone could make an appearance in there, like whether it's at the beginning or at the end, like telling you this is the story of how I became who I became after the war, you know, how the war made me type of thing. It's going to be very interesting to see where the movie starts, because we know Stallone's idea was to show Rambo before he even got drafted into the war. So where he was like playing college football and stuff like that, he said. So I wonder if they'll have elements of that in this, or will it just start off with him signing up to the military and being dropped into this shit? You know, have Nick Nolte here now from Tropic Thunder going, drop those boys in the shit. You know what I mean? But I am very curious about the movie. As I said, I'm not excited, but I'm definitely curious to see what they can do with it. And more importantly, can a Rambo movie work without Stallone being Rambo? I think that's going to be the bigger question at this stage. But there you go, folks. We now have at least the majority of the cast listing, and we have the release date, and that it's only going to be in theaters. So what do you guys think? When do you think we could possibly get our first look? Do you think they could show up at Comic-Con? And what do you think about the overall idea of a prequel to First Blood and getting to meet Rambo being made into the Rambo we know and love? Let me know what you think about it all. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I shall catch you in the next one.